Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Thank you for checking out this video where we're going to be talking about how to navigate long distance relationships. Basically, how do you keep your love alive? How do you keep the relationship still sizzling and working out well even though you guys are not in the same place at that particular point in time. Now, the reason why this video has come about is because these days a lot of people are moving. People are traveling from one country to another. Some people are leaving their home country to move to other places in order to look for greener pastures. Maybe there are job opportunities that are in other places that are not in their home country. And sometimes either the husband or the wife needs to travel first, get to start the job or get to start the business, adjust a little bit to the new environment before the rest of the family follows. And in that time, how do you manage your relationship? For some people, it's a protracted length of time where the spouse, the husband or wife, works for a long period outside the home base where the rest of the family is. For some other people, it may just be a short stint, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, but whatever the case may be, this video is going to be giving you 10 expert tips on how you can really master the art of making your relationship still work, still be okay, still be fun, still be nice, even though the two of you are not together at that point in time. So let's jump right in. Number one tip I'm going to give is continuous communication. Communication is extremely important. You must have to schedule regular times in the day that you guys are going to be communicating with each other, checking up on each other, checking up on how the day went. And beautifully enough, in our times now, technology is really helping. You have all sorts of means where you can do video calls, voice calls, text messages, WhatsApp messages, and all that. So let's leverage on this. Make sure that you are consistent communicating and have regular times for it, so that you don't communicate at a time when maybe somebody is working and it may be a disturbance, but you have regular times, maybe in the evenings, maybe early mornings, or however the case may be, depending on the different time zones where you guys communicate regularly and frequently. So communication is very important. The next tip I'm going to give is to set clear goals and expectations. So you guys have to have clear goals and expectations regarding your relationship, regarding your marriage, regarding where you're going. And it's very important because sometimes there are people who have taken jobs in different parts of the world just for the financial part of it, not considering the impact on the family or the relationship. So it's always good to have your relationship desires and goals and expectations within the frame of your mind and within the frame of your discussion and your interaction with each other, so that at every point in time you guys know where you are at regarding your relationship. It helps a lot, and it helps to foster bonding and union and connection even while you guys are not together. A third tip I'm going to give is build and reinforce trust. Build and reinforce trust. When the two of you are not together, you need to make sure that you do all it takes to build and reinforce trust, so that nobody is thinking that somebody is out there doing something they're not supposed to be doing. Who knows who they've met? Who knows who is talking to who? You don't need that. So however it is, especially things like always checking up on all the events that happen during the day, the communication part and all that, it's important to build and reinforce trust. Different relationships have their own dynamics, but whatever it takes for you guys to build and reinforce trust in each other, it's very important that you do that, especially when you guys are not together. Then the fourth tip I'm going to give is plan visits. And when you visit, spend quality time together. Now, the thing about planning visits is that it builds expectation, it builds anticipation, and it helps the other partner, or it helps the two of you to be able to handle or kind of endure the period you're not together, because there's an anticipation and an expectation that at a particular point in time, specified or planned by the two of you, somebody's going to visit the other person and you guys are going to be together. And again, like I said, when you actually visit, spend quality time together. I've seen situations where somebody said he was visiting the wife after a long period staying away, and he just came to visit the wife, stayed briefly, and then took off to another engagement, and the wife got annoyed. And the wife said, if this is the way you're going to come to visit, then don't even bother. If you're saying you're coming to visit, let it not be that you're just coming to stop by and then go somewhere else and you call it a visit. Spend quality time. Now, the next tip I'm going to be giving is be patient and understanding. In long distance relationships, it's very easy for frustration to rise. Sometimes, even when you're communicating and you're communicating frequently, sometimes that communication even becomes a pain because it reinforces and reminds you guys of the fact that you're not together. There are times you'll be communicating and the longing to be together keeps on increasing. And as it keeps increasing and you guys are still not together, frustration may just crop up. There may also be times where you're communicating with someone, but maybe a particular day or maybe a particular week, the communication was a bit broken because your spouse was particularly busy at work, or there was something that happened and they weren't able to communicate as frequently as they normally would do. Either of these scenarios, try to be understanding. Just try to be considerate and understanding. You do your best to make sure that you minimize the friction that happens when you guys are interacting, because you guys are not together. So you're trying to do your best to make sure that your interactions are loving, your interactions are fun, your interactions are warm, and that will require you to have a little bit of magnanimity of heart, be more understanding, and be more considerate. Now, the sixth tip I'm going to give is stay positive. Keep a positive outlook, keep a positive attitude. Even in your communication and your responses and your discussions, keep being positive. Things will get better. We are soon going to be together. We are doing this for the betterment of the family. Stay on the positive side. It will really help a lot in the relationship. Seventh tip I'm going to be giving is do some surprise gestures. So in that period that you're not around, do some surprise gestures. Maybe organize some friends, or maybe organize a gift, a particular company that maybe supplies gifts or gives gifts to people. Pay them, they should package a gift, something that your spouse did not expect, and bring it to the door and ring the doorbell and say, this is from husband, this is from wife, something that is going to create some excitement and some element of surprise and spark in the relationship. Consider to add that. It will help to spice up your relationship, that period that you guys are not together. Now, the next tip I'm going to be giving is connect further or deeper through shared experiences. Very important. Connect deeper or further through shared experiences. What do I mean by shared experiences? Maybe things as common as praying together at particular points in the day. Maybe both of you decide, okay, there's this particular part of the Bible, or there's a particular book that we are going to both read, and when we finish reading it, during our communication and interaction, we discuss the things that we learned when we read the book, or when we read the part of the Bible. Or there are even some online games that the two of you, if you guys are into games, may like, and you can play them together. Just find some things that constitute shared experiences that you guys can engage in. It also helps to make the relationship interesting during that period that you guys are not together. I give you the next tip as this: ensure that the necessary support structures are in place. Now, for example, if your the husband and you're the one that traveled out probably to look for a job and you left your family back in your home base, it's important that those things that you were doing when you were around, that you create a kind of support structure that will continue doing it now you're not around. For example, maybe you're the one that takes the car to the mechanic. So when you're not around, make sure that you are able to communicate to the mechanic so that the mechanic can probably come to the house, pick up the car, get it done. Or maybe when it comes to do with things like plumbing, things like electricals, or whatever the case may be, there are certain things and responsibilities that the spouse, either the man or the woman, may be doing in the house that makes the house and the home to function optimally. But now they are away, you don't really need to let that gap to be so glaring that you're away. Find support structures that can help to kind of continue those things that you would have done if you were around. It's important, whether it's taking away the dustbin or whether it's preparing things in the house or doing groceries, I don't know, but every home has their own dynamic. Think about what you can do. Of course, you can't do everything. There are certain things that you can only do when you're around. But to the best of your abilities, try to see how you can create support structures that will enable the home or your spouse to be able to still, function and feel that your presence is not so missed. That's an important key. And in this regard, I will also say something. I will advise whatever support structure you're creating, let there be supervision when that support structure needs to come into the home. Don't create a support structure where people can just come into your home when you're not around. Maybe you call the person an electrician or a plumber, and he's a plumber or an electrician and there's something wrong in the house and they just come at any point in time. Let there be some form of supervision, because you don't want to be exposing your family to people you cannot exactly control. But like I said, every home has their own dynamics. I'm just trying to put a little bit of, caution. Be careful. Just know the dynamics around your home. Know the kind of support structure to introduce without compromising the safety of your spouse and your children or the safety of your home environment. Now, the final tip I'm going to give is deal with conflicts maturely. Conflicts occur whether you guys are together or you guys are not together. But when you guys are not together, it's important you have a little bit more magnanimity of heart to deal with those conflicts, because you don't want to create more friction than already exists on account of the fact that two of you are not together. So deal with conflicts maturely. Use open and honest communication techniques. Speak to each other not by raised tones of voice, but maturely and calmly, with a view to resolving the issue, not with a view to criticizing or pointing fingers. So these are just a few interesting tips that if you can put in your relationship, especially if you and your spouse or you and your partner are not together, it will really help to boost the quality of the relationship you have for that period that you guys are not together. So thank you so much for listening up until now. Remember to like this video if it made some sense to you or if it added value to you, and then you can also subscribe to this channel if you have not. Thank you once again, and see you in the next video.